Being pregnant in the middle of a pandemic was not enough. I was pregnant and I had hyperemisis. Na upepo madam, like if the wind blows inakubeba unaenda nayo vibaya sana. 5 days came to 75,000. What if they admit me for 1 month? Si tutauza kidney so that we can pay this. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mollie. I'm a beauty and a lifestyle content creator. I'm a makeup artist and I'm also a new mom. And if you are a returning subscriber, karibu tena sana. Thank you for always watching my videos and watching my content and supporting me. I really appreciate you. We are at 900 subscribers. This journey has been the longest, but I'm grateful for all 900 of you. Please get me to 1K subscribers so you can share my video with your friends, with your family, and anyone that you think would enjoy my content. Today, I'll be sharing with you guys my pregnancy journey and me dealing with Hyperemisis Gravidarum. So I'll start by defining what Hyperemesis Gravidarum is. So Hyperemesis Gravidarum, also known as HG, is a condition that affects 1 to 2% of pregnant women. And Hyperemesis Gravidarum is simply excessive vomiting. You can't keep anything down, you can't keep water down, any sort of food, any sort of drink, even your own saliva. You can't even swallow your own saliva because every time you try and swallow something, it comes right back up. So simply that is what Hyperemesis Gravidarum is. It's often misjudged as morning sickness, which it is not. And I'll say this, comparing morning sickness to Hyperemesis Gravidarum is like comparing a bonfire with a wildfire. They are nothing close. Hyperemesis is a near-death experience, because for me it was so. And for a lot of women that have, you know, read their stories, heard their stories, listened to their stories, they have the same notion that hyperemesis for them was a near-death experience, and I agree with them 1000%. HG is not a joke. So I'll start sharing from when I found out I was pregnant. So I found out I was pregnant on a certain Sunday in July 2020. So on this particular day, I went to the bathroom multiple times. I couldn't even count the times I went to the bathroom. And throughout the week, I was feeling nauseous every now and then. So when this day I went to the bathroom a lot of times, by the time it got to evening, I was so sure I was pregnant, and I went ahead and got testing kit from the pharmacy, and it came out positive. And we were happy and we were excited and we were looking forward to this pregnancy journey, documenting, you know, sharing with you guys the journey. We honestly didn't know what was awaiting us. We didn't know what was ahead of us. So I found out I was pregnant at exactly 4 weeks. So by the time we got to the 5th week, the pregnancy symptoms had started increasing. And at this point, I just thought, yeah, just regular morning sickness, it will be over soon. So we decided to go to the hospital. And we thought that going to the hospital and me starting off with my prenatal clinics would help. Maybe there's something that they would give me. Maybe I'll start on the, what are they called? Supplements. I would start with the supplements that help with the nausea, and I would stop feeling as bad as I was feeling at that point. So we went to the hospital, and they told me that we did another test. We redid the test at the hospital, and it also came back positive. So they told me, it's just kawaida morning sickness, and it will go away in a matter of days and weeks. It will subside as the days go by. So we were like, oh, okay. So they gave me some medicine, some medication, which was Nosic, certain tablets that normally pregnant women take to help them with the nausea and vomiting. So they gave me Nosic. They also gave me another one, which was a syrup. I can't remember the name. And then they also gave me ORS, because at that point I was vomiting, but not as much. ORS is the solution for rehydration. So that is what I was given, and we came back home. Now that week, when I started taking the medication, I got worse, and that is when HG like hit me full blown kabisa. Now it was clear this is not your regular morning sickness. So during that week, I couldn't even keep the medicine that I was given down. Nosic was not working for me, because the moment I swallowed it, it came right back up. So I couldn't keep the medication down, I couldn't keep water down, I couldn't keep any sort of food down. So we decided to go to another hospital. We decided to go to a nursing home because we felt going to a nursing home would be much better, because they've dealt with multiple pregnant women, so they would definitely know how to help me and what was happening to me. So we went to this hospital. By this time I was dehydrated, not as much, but I was dehydrated. So they gave me so I was on IV fluids. They gave me like a liter or a liter and a half of glucose and electrolytes, and then they told me because you've done the test like twice, so you already know you're pregnant. We need to verify that the pregnancy is actually viable and the embryo is actually growing, so we need to do an ultrasound to verify that. So after I got the IV fluids and I got a little bit of strength, we went to the sonographer and we got the, what is it called? We got the ultrasound. By this time I was 7 weeks. I was only 7 weeks pregnant, so we couldn't even hear the heartbeat. It was just like a very tiny sac. Tiny. That tiny sac is now my baby. Wow. So it was a very tiny sac and we could just see, you know, the heartbeat, but we couldn't hear anything. So they were like, yeah, you're pregnant and the pregnancy is viable. The embryo is alive and it's growing. This is probably just kawaida morning sickness and it should go away in a matter of weeks. So this time I was 7 weeks pregnant, so they were like, yeah, by the time you're 10 weeks it will be over, and we are going to give you medication that is going to help the nausea, so you'll be able to eat and you'll be able to drink. Let me tell you, I did not get any better. I was actually getting worse by day. So we came back home with the medication. Again, I couldn't keep the medication down, I couldn't keep anything down, I couldn't keep water down, I couldn't keep saliva down, I could not keep anything down, and I got so weak I couldn't even walk, I couldn't go to the bathroom because every time I would stand up I would vomit. So I couldn't even move. So I started spending all my days in my bed. I could not move. I would only move when I needed to go to the washroom, which was rare because I'm not eating anything. And when I'm going to the bathroom, I need to go like, you know, supporting myself on the walls, and I get to the bathroom and I would vomit before I even got to use the bathroom. And so that was my life, and remember, I'm not eating anything, so I'm just vomiting bile, some green and, you know, yellow liquid, which was very, very, very bitter, so it only made the nausea worse. So on the 9th week we decided to go back to the hospital, because at this point I had cut so much weight, I had lost so much weight. Even my leggings, my tights were no longer tights, they looked like sweatpants. I was so skinny. Typically, if you know me, normally I'm a tiny girl, I'm a very petite girl, so normally I would weigh between 46 and 48 kgs. That, like, 48 kgs was my heaviest before I got pregnant and had a baby. We're not talking about my weight right now, so please excuse me. The heaviest I'd ever been was 48 kgs, and my weight was fluctuating between 46 to 47, 47.5, around there. So I got pregnant, and by the time I was 9 weeks pregnant, I had lost so much weight. I was between, I think I was 34 kgs then. So you can imagine, you're pregnant and you are 34 kgs. I mean, you utabebwa hata na upepo, madam. Like, if the wind blows inakubeba, unaenda nayo vibaya sana. So I was skinny. Nilikuwa come to a class 2. So we decided to go back to the same hospital. We went back to the same hospital and they gave me the same narrative. Oh, this is just you know, kawaida morning sickness and it will go away. And at that point I would get so mad and so angry when someone told me it was kawaida morning sickness. Well, I knew very well this is not your typical morning sickness, because, dude, I cannot move, I cannot eat, I cannot take water. One thing is, with hyperemesis, water is your enemy. Water, you cannot take water. Even a tiny sip of water, you vomit. The only thing I could keep down at that time was Coke. Coca-Cola. And you know, when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to take Coca-Cola because of the caffeine. But the only thing I could keep down at that point was Coca-Cola. So that was the only thing I was drinking. And by drinking, I don't mean like I would drink a whole bottle. Even quarter a glass was a problem. So I would pour my Coca-Cola in a glass, and I would drink like half a glass for the entire day, because I would sip kidogo kidogo so that I don't vomit. So that was the only thing that I was keeping down. So I made Google my best friend, because me, I'd never heard of hyperemesis before I got pregnant. So I went on Google and Googled, you know, excessive vomiting, you can't keep water down, can't keep saliva down. That is what I Googled. And kama kawaida, Google knew what was happening to me. So I got hyperemesis, and now I started doing some research on hyperemesis. I also found a group on Facebook for hyperemesis moms. Most of the moms are based in the US. So I went ahead and read their stories and doing my research, and from there, because everything that I was reading was everything that was happening to me, and from there I was like, oh, I could have hyperemesis. So when we went back to the hospital, I told the doctor, no, I don't think this is kawaida morning sickness. I think I have hyperemesis. And after looking at me for now the third time, he diagnosed me with severe hyperemesis gravidarum. And so they were trying all they could to treat me. So I would go back like every week to the hospital, and I'd get IV fluids. At this point I was getting even 2 liters, because it got to a point that I couldn't even keep the Coca-Cola down. I couldn't keep anything down, and I was vomiting every 20 minutes. So I even stopped going to the bathroom to throw up, and I had a bucket right next to my bed, because I would throw up every 20 minutes. I don't have the strength to even walk and go to the bathroom, because even if I sit up on the bed, I'll vomit. Keep on the same position for 24 hours, because I knew the moment I turn, I vomit, or immediately after I vomit, now I turn before I vomit again, and when I turn, I vomit again. So even turning on my bed was a huge problem. I mean, anything would provoke me to vomit. You call me, I vomited. When I had my phone vibrating, I vomited. When I opened the curtains, I would throw up. Anything, literally anything would cause me to throw up. You talk to me, I throw up. You breathe near me, I throw up. I mean, you touch me, I throw up. It was that bad. I didn't want anyone near me. I didn't want anyone to talk to me. And it got to a point that I couldn't even talk myself, because I talk, I vomit. So I was talking with sign language, and I have no knowledge on sign language. And I honestly think sign language should be a thing that we do in school, because it is so important. I was trying to communicate with sign language, and nobody would understand me because I don't have any knowledge on sign language, and the people around me didn't have any knowledge on sign language. So it was even difficult communicating. So I would end up just nodding my head yes and no. That was the only thing I could do. If you say hi to me, this is how I responded, because I don't want to talk, and if you talk to me, I'll vomit. So I was avoiding people talking to me. Yeah, so it was that bad. So he diagnosed me with severe hyperemesis gravidarum, and they were trying to treat it. And you know, we went back home with more medication. At that point, my house looked like a pharmacy. I had so much medication. We had already spent so much money. Remember, uweke sauti ya mkurugenzi hapa. God's timing is perfect, lakini ya shetani maridadi. This is 2020. COVID has just hit like no one's business. I'm a makeup artist, so the country is on lockdown, so no gigs, no nothing, no jobs for me. Okay, my partner is a photographer. The country is on lockdown, so no gigs, no weddings, no nothing for him. So he's not working as well. And here I am, I'm pregnant. Being pregnant in the middle of a pandemic was not enough. I was pregnant and I had hyperemesis, and we don't know what I have at this point. So we are trying to treat something that we don't know. And so by the time I got diagnosed with hyperemesis, we had already spent so much money on Ubers because we don't have a car yet. We are trusting God for one and believing God for one. Somebody say amen. Amen. So Uber money to hospital and from hospital to home almost twice every week. Then hospital bills and all these medications that we are buying, we had already spent quite a bit on the hospitals and on the medication. At this point, we had already visited like 3 different hospitals. So when I got diagnosed, and we were still trying to treat it at this nursing home, and I was not getting better. And I remember one day I was really bad. I didn't think I would see the next day. I didn't think I would see the light of the day, because I felt like I was dying, like my body was shutting down. I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. And I remember that night I was praying and telling God, if this is what is going to kill me, if this is what is going to bring me home, please, you can as well take me now, because I don't think I can suffer for another minute. And I remember that night crying and telling Babe, I'm done. I don't think I can do it anymore. I don't think I have the strength in me to do it. And I was crying and I was telling him, I just want to die. Hyperemesis is crazy. You will even consider suicide. I'm not even kidding you, because number one, it is exhausting mentally, it is exhausting spiritually, it is exhausting physically, it is exhausting emotionally, because no one understands what you're going through, yeah, other than you and your partner, who is there by your side every minute. So they are seeing what you're going through. No one really understands what you're going through, and people will misjudge you, and people will try to brush it off as morning sickness, which it is not. So I felt alone. I felt emotionally alone, because I felt no one is understanding me. I felt and I didn't even feel depressed. I was depressed, because I was, you know, there's this scripture that says, the blessing of God maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. But here I was with a blessing in my womb, and I was miserable. So I was asking God, is this really your blessing? Because if it is, it should give me joy and not this type of misery. So I was spiritually drained. I was in the pits. I was, my God, I was in such a dark place. And that night I remember crying and saying, even if it's taking my own life, even if it's helping you, God, I'll come home early, I'll do it. Come home sooner, I'll do it, because I felt like I could not do it anymore. I don't want to get emotional, Molly. We don't cry. We don't cry on the internet. We don't cry on the internet. I was in the pits. I was in such a dark place. And, you know, Babe was there. He was encouraging me, no, babe, you can do it. You have the strength in you. You're stronger than you think. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this man, because he has stood with me all through. He has taken care of me all through. He has fed me. You know, we would wake up in the middle of the night. Hunger was killing me, guy. I would wake up so hungry at night, and I would not eat anything. You know, he would go and get some yogurt and try to feed me yogurt with a spoon, just kidogo, to see if I can keep it down. And right after, you know, taking the second spoon, I would just throw up everywhere. He would, you know, clean the bucket that was next to my bed that I was vomiting on. Every 5 minutes he would come clean it and bring it back. He would help me go to the bathroom and take a shower. As in, this man took care of me like a small baby, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for him. And Babe, may God bless you, and may he honor the desires of your heart. I love you so much. Thank you for standing by my side. And that is when we decided to call the nursing home and request them to refer me to a bigger hospital, which was Kenyatta Hospital. Mind you, COVID iko huku Kenya like no one's business. So, and Kenyatta Hospital is the hospital that COVID patients were being taken to. So we requested for a referral letter to go to Kenyatta Hospital, which we picked in the morning on our way to the hospital. I couldn't go to the hospital that night because there was curfew, there was lockdown, as in I couldn't go anywhere. So we had to wait for morning and decided to go to Kenyatta Hospital private wing. and that was the best decision we could have made at that point. So we went there and we met this amazing OBGYN. His name is Dr. Musalia. So we went upstairs. Kama kawaida, I got IV fluids. At this point I had gotten like not less than 20 or even 30 IV fluids, because every week I would go, and maybe even twice a week sometimes I would go and get IV fluids, because I was dehydrated to a point that my eyes couldn't even see, and I would keep my eyes closed because every time I open my eyes, I blink, I vomit. So it was bad, and my brother had to go upstairs and get me a wheelchair. So they pushed me, they wheeled me up to the hospital, and immediately I was given IV fluids, and the doctor came to see me, the OBGYN came to see me, and he told me, Mollie, your case is severe and we need to admit you immediately. So he told us, go to the cashier, they'll tell you what you need to do, and pick the admission form, and you're going to be admitted, and we are going to admit you here for at least 1 week, just to watch you and help you rehydrate, because you're very dehydrated. So that is what we did. Not me, I was there lying on the bed helplessly. So my brother and babe went to babe is Morris, I'll just call him Morris at this point. So my brother and Morris went to the cashier, and they were told, so for us to admit her, you guys need to pay a down payment of 50,000, and if the final bill surpasses the 50,000, you're going to pay more money, and if it doesn't, we're going to refund you guys. And they were like, can we pay anything less than that 50,000? They were like, no, the minimum deposit you can pay is 50K. At this point, we didn't have the 50K. You know, we didn't have work, we didn't have money. So all the money we'd saved up, all the money that we had, we've been using on these multiple useless hospital trips and bills. So at this point, we didn't have 50K to pay up front for deposit for me to be admitted. So we went back and told the doctor, this is what we've been told. Do you have any other way of helping us, because we don't have this 50K that we need to be admitted? And he told us, I have this hospital that I can refer you to. It's a private hospital. I can refer you there, and I'll be coming to see you there every day. I'll be your doctor, and I'll call them. I think he co-owns the hospital or something. He told us I'll call them and tell them I've sent you there, and whatever you have, you guys can pay, and they'll admit you, and then I'll be coming to see you every day as your doctor. So we were like, cool, where's the hospital? So they sent us, he gave us a number and he gave us the directions, and we went to the hospital. The hospital is called Gardens Specialist Hospital. It's located in Hurlingham. So that is where we went. So we went there. I think we had around 20,000 or 15,000. So we paid, and I was admitted. And I was admitted there for about five days. Yeah, I was there for 5 days. So when I was admitted again, I was on IV fluids. I was on electrolytes and glucose, because I was severely dehydrated. And then they started me on medication. The medication I was getting was Zofran. Zofran is the same medication given to chemotherapy patients to suppress the nausea and the vomiting, and that is the only medication that most of the time works for hyperemesis patients. So that was the medication I was given. So they started me on Zofran, and I couldn't take the medicine orally. It had to be injections, because I couldn't keep anything down. So I was getting 3 injections. I think it was Zofran, esmoparazole or something like that, and another one, I can't remember the name. And I would get this medication I think twice or thrice a day. I can't even remember. I was so out of it. But the second day I was eating, I tried to eat some bread, some just plain bread and black tea, and I was able to retain it. And as days went by, I was able to retain more food. So by the time they were discharging me, I could eat and not throw up. So they started weaning me off the injections, and now I started the medication, taking the medication orally, so that I'd get discharged from the hospital and I'd go home with this medication. So that is what they did, and it worked for those few days, and I was discharged from the hospital. I never thought I would say this, but I really enjoyed my stay at the hospital, basically because when I came here I was in a bad condition. I couldn't eat, I couldn't even walking was a problem because I was so weak. My ulcers was so painful. I had acidity. I was so hungry and I couldn't eat. I was vomiting and gagging all the time. I also had hypersalivation. It's still there, but right now it has reduced. So I was in a very bad state when I first came here, and right now being able to talk, I can move around freely, I can eat, I can drink water, as in I really enjoyed my stay here because I've recovered and I feel much better. The food here is amazing. Ni tamu sana chakula hapa. And also the nurses and the doctors, they are really amazing. It's just a great hospital that I would 100% recommend. Yeah, it's a nice hospital. The staff, the environment, like did I even show you guys the room? I didn't show you guys the room, but it's quite a huge, it's a room with 2 beds, but there's no one here, so I'm just alone. And then there's a bathroom inside the room, so I don't have to go out ever. So I only go out when I need to get some sun, or just when I'm bored. That is when I would go out. And there's Wi-Fi, but there's no other form of entertainment, so you just have to use your phone. But I really enjoyed my stay here, and I'm not sad I'm going home. I'm happy I'm going home, but then again, I hope when I get home I won't get sick again, and I'll be able to eat and do all these things that I'm able to do right here at the hospital. Yeah. The only downside is that I was really getting bored at night because the Wi-Fi is quite slow, and then I couldn't sleep well at night, so I would sleep during morning hours. So that's the only time that I would really get bored and miss being home. But I really enjoyed my stay here. I really did.